Before the arrival of Europeans, the vast lands of the Congo were a mosaic of diverse spiritual beliefs. From the Congo kingdom's cosmology centered on the spiritual world of the ancestors, to the intricate rituals of the Luba and Lunda empires, religion was deeply woven into the fabric of daily life, governance, and social structure. These were not static traditions, they were dynamic, evolving systems that provided meaning, identity, and a way to understand the world. The universe was seen as a holistic entity where the living, the dead, and the natural world were interconnected. Healers, diviners, and spiritual leaders held revered positions, acting as intermediaries between the physical and spiritual realms. Art, music, and dance were not just forms of expression but were vital conduits for religious practice, storytelling, and connecting with the divine. This rich spiritual landscape was the foundation upon which one of the most profound and often brutal transformations in African history would soon be built. In the late 19th century, a new power arrived in the heart of Africa, one driven by a trinity of commerce, Christianity, and civilization. King Leopold II of Belgium established the Congo Free State, not as a colony of Belgium, but as his own personal fiefdom. With this political and economic takeover came a spiritual one. Christian missionaries, both Catholic and Protestant, saw the Congo as a vast field ripe for harvest, a land of darkness to be illuminated by the light of the gospel. Their mission was inextricably linked to the Colonial project. They believed they were saving souls, but their methods often involved dismantling the very foundations of Congolese society. Traditional beliefs were systematically demonized, labeled as paganism, superstition, or devil worship. Sacred objects were destroyed, rituals were forbidden, and spiritual leaders were discredited or persecuted. The missionaries established schools and hospitals, which became powerful tools for conversion. To receive an education, to get medical care, you often had to embrace Christianity. This created a deep societal rift, where accepting the new faith became synonymous with progress and access to the colonizer's world, while holding on to traditional beliefs meant being left behind, branded as primitive and uncivilized. The early years of evangelization were a story of resistance and adaptation. Many Congolese communities initially resisted the foreign religion, seeing it as an assault on their identity and way of life. The missionaries' condemnation of polygamy, ancestor veneration, and traditional initiation rites clashed directly with long-standing social structures. However, the colonial state's immense power, often enforced with extreme brutality, made open defiance difficult and dangerous. In the face of this pressure, a fascinating process of syncretism began to unfold. Congolese converts didn't simply discard their old beliefs. They began to merge them with the new Christian doctrines. Jesus might be understood through the lens of a powerful local spirit, the Holy Spirit seen as similar to the life force that animated the natural world, and Christian saints could be venerated in ways that echoed the traditional reverence for ancestors. This was not a betrayal of their heritage, but a creative and resilient way to make sense of a new spiritual reality, to find continuity in a world that had been turned upside down. It was a way of claiming Christianity for themselves, reshaping it to fit their own cultural and spiritual understanding, rather than passively accepting the version imposed by the missionaries. One of the most powerful examples of this religious syncretism is the Kimbangwist Church, which emerged in the 1920s. It was founded by Simon Kimbangu, a Baptist mission catechist who began a powerful healing and preaching ministry in his village. His message resonated deeply with the Congolese people. He performed what were described as miraculous healings and preached a form of Christianity that spoke directly to their experiences under colonial rule. His movement grew at an explosive rate, attracting hundreds of thousands of followers who saw him as a prophet sent by God. The Belgian authorities, however, saw him as a threat. His immense popularity challenged their control and the authority of the established missionary churches. They feared his movement would incite a political uprising. In 1921, Simon Kimbangu was arrested, charged with sedition, and sentenced to death, a sentence later commuted to life imprisonment. He would spend the next 30 years in prison, where he eventually died. But his imprisonment did not crush his movement. It turned him into a martyr and fueled its growth. The Kimbangwist Church went underground, continuing to thrive despite intense persecution. It was a truly African church, led by Africans for Africans, blending Christian theology with Congolese cultural values and becoming a powerful symbol of spiritual and national identity. The colonial state and the missionary churches waged a relentless campaign against Kimbangwism and other African-initiated churches, which they labeled as heretical and subversive. Followers were arrested, villages were broken up, and leaders were exiled. The Belgians tried to reinforce the authority of the Catholic and Protestant missions, viewing them as essential partners in maintaining social order and colonial control. But the seeds of spiritual independence had been sown, and they could not be uprooted. These new churches offered a space where Congolese people could express their faith in a culturally authentic way, free from the paternalistic oversight of European missionaries. They provided leadership opportunities and a sense of community and empowerment that was denied to them in the colonial system. The persecution only strengthened their resolve and solidified their identity as distinct from the colonizers' religion. This struggle for religious autonomy was deeply intertwined with the growing desire for political independence. The fight to worship freely became a rehearsal for the fight to rule themselves, proving that the spirit of a people, once awakened, could not be easily contained. When the Congo finally gained independence from Belgium in 1960, the religious landscape had been permanently altered. Christianity had become the dominant religion, but it was a uniquely Congolese Christianity. The Kimbangwist Church, once persecuted, was officially recognized and has since grown into a major world religion with millions of members across the globe. Other African-initiated churches also flourished, each offering its own blend of Christian doctrine and African spirituality. The Catholic and Protestant churches that remained also had to adapt. To stay relevant, they began a process of Africanization, incorporating local languages, music, and cultural symbols into their worship. The power dynamic had shifted. Congolese priests and pastors now led their own congregations, reinterpreting theology to address the social and political realities of a post-colonial nation. The legacy of the colonial era is complex and fraught with pain, but it also reveals the incredible resilience of the human spirit. It's a story of how a people, faced with the overwhelming force of colonization, did not just endure. They adapted, innovated, and ultimately reclaimed their spiritual destiny, forging a new identity from the crucible of history. Today, the Democratic Republic of Congo is a nation of vibrant faith. Churches are central to community life, providing not just spiritual guidance but also education, healthcare, and social support in a country that has faced immense challenges. The syncretic traditions born from the colonial encounter continue to evolve, with charismatic and Pentecostal movements gaining huge followings, often blending Christian teachings with beliefs in divine healing and prophecy that echo pre-colonial spiritual practices. Traditional beliefs, though no longer dominant, have not disappeared. They persist, often coexisting with Christianity, influencing cultural practices and personal worldviews. The journey from the ancestral spirits of the Congo Kingdom to the global Kimbangwist Church is a testament to the enduring power of faith to shape identity, resist oppression, and create meaning in a changing world. It reminds us that culture is not a fragile artifact to be preserved behind glass, but a living, breathing entity that constantly transforms, adapts, and renews itself in the face of history. The spiritual heart of the Congo continues to beat, a rhythm composed of ancient traditions and new revelations, a powerful sound of resilience and hope. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history.